Hey everybody, welcome to Good Turn Daily. I've had a really fun weekend. I've put out one video about doing mushrooms, and today we're actually going to be turning a candlestick. I told my wife that I kind of ran out of ideas as to what I wanted to do, and so she says, well, why don't you make a very large candlestick? I said, I don't know if my lathe can do that. So I did a medium-sized candlestick. I told you guys in my last video one of my favorite tools is my skew, and for the most part I use the skew on this whole thing. I did have a little bit of a scraper that I like the way that it does the indentation, so I did that as well, but for the most part it's all skew. It really does give you a challenge though as well. If you haven't used your skew a lot, it's a great tool to have. You just can't go wrong. And it is amazing too. I was watching some videos on doing candlesticks earlier, and there's one gentleman, I don't remember what his name is, but man, the way he was doing this candlestick, it's like he was carving butter. It must have been that his skew was just sharp and amazing, and the skill that he had. He did two of them, and he did both of them freehand, and the second one he did exactly like the first. Just amazes me. But I guess if you do it enough, it becomes second nature, and eventually I'll get to that. So one thing that was a challenge to me is I've been seeing people make candlesticks, but I never really understood how to make them so that they don't fall over. And I was thinking about that for a little bit, and I decided to look around my shop and see if maybe there was something that I could add on to it, or I just didn't know. And then I had this just nice little thick square piece of cherry, and you'll see in just a little bit I add that on to the bottom, and I think it came out pretty good. I think the colors match pretty well, and sorry about that little blurb on my my camera. I didn't notice that until I started editing, but so this is the Forstner bit that I used for my smaller candlestick, and It doesn't show it here, but I used that same candle on top of this one, and it came out great. If you look in my Instagram, you'll see pictures of it in there. And here's that little piece of cherry. And unfortunately, I just gotta wait a little bit for that glue to dry. And with the miracle of editing, it was dry really fast. So I decided to do a flat plate on this. Well, it's not really flat, but kind of like the one I did with my lace plate. I think that glue slipped a little bit on there, and so it made it a little bit uneven, but I carved it out pretty well, and I think it was a little bit off center. You don't really notice it, but now you will, since I told you about it. And just took a chisel and popped that thing off, and back in the chuck it goes. So just remember, when you're doing these, always work from the outside in, because if you try to do it the other way, it doesn't want to work out, and things will start to fly off and you won't be happy. And look at that, I got it first try. How about that? And the edges, of course, you gotta hand sand. There's no way possible to do it with it on the lathe, but it sanded up real nice and easy. And then a little sanding sealer on it. And then I touch it up with a little feed and wax. And I didn't really like how it was going on. I mean, it still gave a nice chatoyance, but I just need a little bit more. So we do the glue up, and then I decide to spray it with the triple coat, and it falls. And had to get off all the yucky stuff, but it came off just fine. So all in all, there it is. I think it came out okay. I'll definitely be doing more. So thank you for joining me. Do a good turn daily, and please watch out for each other.